All right, breaking news. I just heard this is going to be Uncomfortable Thursday. I don't know,
Uncomfortable
Anthony.
Thursday.
Let's find out.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Hey everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's Anthony Melchiori. Anthony, so great to see you today. I got to tell you, I fall for it every single day. As soon as we go live, YouTube sends out a notification that I'm live, and I'm like, oh, I got an email, and I go check it every single day, and I'm like, I don't even realize that that's coming through. I'm pretty dumb.
Do you know why?
No, I'd love to hear.
Because you're afraid you're going to miss something, and that's a good business person.
Yeah, that is true. Speaking about missing something, our guest is not here for today, but we don't care.
Okay, how many times have guests not shown up?
I'll tell you what, it's been probably 3 or 4 times now. Once or twice a year, it seems to happen.
Right. And so we have a list. It's called the Dead to Us list, and that person is now dead to us.
Well, we'll see. Maybe there was some sort of explanation.
Yeah, if there's an explanation, like he has a better thing, like he had a good lunch or something. That's acceptable.
I don't know. Well, he's on European time, so
maybe he shows up. Maybe he shows up, and then I use my words.
I don't know. We'll see, but we're not here to complain about that. And if you guys are watching us live, ignore the live show description. Meanwhile, Anthony and I are going to catch up today. And I'll tell you what, Anthony, we don't get to do this enough. We always say we're going to do a show. Let's make it weekly, whatever, where it's just you and I screwing around, talking to the audience and stuff like that. We never seem to get to it, though.
So let's get to it. First, let's start with some news items.
All right, first big news item today is I made a deal with Hotel Business Magazine to do some hosting for them for these hot topic sessions that they do. So that's a lot of fun because as much, I love doing these broadcasts. Anything I can get to do to be in front of people and talk some more, I like it. So
let's go behind the curtain a little bit. Yesterday, I'm working on something with a fellow hotelier, and I called Glenn and I said, Glenn, hey, I'm working on this thing that's going to come out eventually. Are you comfortable with it? Are you cool with it? And he goes, of course, I work on a lot of things. And then this morning he called me and he said, hey, this thing is dropping today. I just want to let you know. And so for good business partners and friends, always be respectful of one another. And I didn't need to call him and ask his permission. But it's just like, why should he be surprised?
Oh yeah, and that's what I love. We have a good relationship of mutual respect, and that's what it's.
No, I respect you. I just don't want to. I just want to. Not work with you on the podcast. I have no respect for you. You don't know that?
You are too funny. Well, honestly, if we got to be real here for a minute, I knew that, but I try to bury the feelings and emotions I have regarding that. So
another thing, I was just on a Zoom conference and I looked so much better. And now I look yellow. Do I look yellow? No.
Right. I think you look absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it was the actual Zoom platform, but I got to tell you, the Microsoft Teams platform and stuff, I just don't look good on any of those sites things. I love this program that we use. It comes out crisp and clear every single day, but a lot of these conferencing systems just don't work.
I don't like the fact that I can't do the green screen on there very easily. It really bothers me.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, what else we have?
All right, so that was a big announcement. I'm really looking forward to that. If you guys, you'll check me out. I think they'll probably be once every 6-8 weeks, whatever it is. That'll be a lot of fun. But I think it's one of the things I wanted to talk about. We'll go a little bit in reverse order of some of the breaking news. Yesterday, big news came out by Lodging Econometrics about Canada. We never talk about Canada, Anthony. They have got a record project count in the early planning stage of their hotel construction pipeline, and their complete pipeline right now is 267 projects that are taking place right there. So that's pretty cool that Canada is doing some much,
because all the Americans are going there.
Yeah. And hey, listen, for all of you guys out there, ask us your questions. Let us know what you're thinking, and we will try our best to get to all of them as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah. And to talk about development, I was on a call yesterday talking about some development project, getting some information. Yeah. And I was talking to a young lady who is one of the sharp people of our universe. She went to Cornell. Don't hold that against her. But she has an amazing, beautiful, wonderful personality. And she went through something with me. And I was just like, God, she's so smart. And
that's how I feel anytime I talk to you. Just went through something.
But when you do an analysis of a market, and when I was an asset manager, we would, I didn't really analyze markets. I really analyzed hotels, but I would be around and see some presentations, and I can literally convince you of markets that people tell you are no good with the right analysis. And this young lady brought me through an analysis of a city that I was just like, oh my God, like no one else is saying this stuff because of all the knowledge and all the hours and weeks she spent really examining it. So I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
The way a Starbucks goes into a market, or the way a Dunkin' Donuts or a Holiday Inn or an independent, like all that stuff behind the scenes is literally, and how office space and hotels literally line up. Like if you have X amount of office space, you can almost do a calculation. She said something about calculus. I said, yeah, I don't know that calculation.
Yeah.
And it lines up. And it's just wonderful. And also being old enough in this industry is we were talking and she was mentioning people and, me and my stories. Yeah. So I went up on tangents for 20 minutes. Me and him. It's like, that guy? I said, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I got to tell you, that's one of the cool things about being older, right? We have a lot of knowledge and a lot of relationships. And you always say, I know a lot about history, but that's only because I lived through it. And I've got all the gray hairs now to prove it, right?
But you know what also is great doing the show is you have a life in the hotel business. I have a life in the hotel business.
Yep.
And this just complements it. And we just talk about it. It's not like two guys that used to be in the hotel business that kind of like it. It's like, we probably know everything is about to come out before anybody. And or you're posting about it a second later, or we just spoke to somebody and got a look in his eye and said, oh, something's going to happen. So that's what's great about just every day being in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Sorry, Doc Producer Suzanne just popped on in the back. I didn't mean to sound distracted there. All right. So I do want to talk about one important issue. We keep going back and forth about the state of the hospitality industry. You and I are very bullish on where we're going right now. But the other day, the American Hotel and Lodging Association put out an important report. And they say, according to the State of the Hotel Industry report, that 2023 will surpass pre-pandemic levels of demand, nominal room revenue, and state and local tax revenue, while also inching closer to other key 2019 performance metrics.
Do you want to know my opinion?
Well, this show is all about finding our opinion, so.
I 100% agree with that statement.
Yep.
Everything that I'm talking about doing, listening to people, we are bullish and we're moving and people are putting their money where their mouth is. I think right now, the things that are going in the ground, I think there's hyper analysis.
Right.
I think there's a lot of Cornell graduates pushing a lot of buttons. But people want to move people want to move.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think, and I don't want to go too early on my theory, but ask me in a couple of weeks. I have a very serious theory that I think is going to disrupt our industry for in my opinion, the betterment of everyone, including the owners, the guests. But ask me in a couple of weeks if you remember, or Suzanne, you write it down.
Yeah, Suzanne is better at remembering this kind of stuff than we are. That's for sure. I have a horrible time remembering anything that's happening right now, but I'll remember it like 4 years from now and be able to discuss the fact that we had this conversation.
Yeah. So I think they're right. I think everything. And you know what? Also, I want to talk about. There were so many female kick-ass executives there that are going to be in leadership positions very, very soon. I was really excited about that.
Yeah. Not only leadership positions soon, but be sure to check out my one-on-one interview I did at Alice with Julie Arrowsmith, the interim president and CEO of G6. But I got a big suspicion that interim word is going to disappear pretty darn quick.
And I agree. And I think talking behind the curtain stuff, I said to Glenn, hey, let's do some stuff. Let's do some podcasts. Let's do some videos when we're out in Alice. And he said, no, I got other stuff going on and I got a lot of individual things. And no, I don't want you or need you. Okay.
That's right. And don't forget that I also then used a big string of expletives and kicked you as well. Right. So we had that. But the truth behind it is your scheduling works a little bit different than mine. We have different tempos of life. I am a planner. I have a schedule for the most part. I know where I'm going to be 3, 4, 5 months from now. You figure it out 1 or 2 days.
I don't figure it out 1 or 2 days. I have it mapped out, but I don't really think about it till 1 or 2 days. January, I will admit,
Yeah.
I was going to work from home. I'm working on, as you know, several different projects, and I wasn't supposed to be on an airplane.
Right.
By the end of the month, if everything works out, I've already been on 5 airplanes, 5 cities, and I'm probably going to be back to Tampa and back to
Wow.
Vegas before the end of the month.
Wow.
So, and plus a lot of people, I get a lot of requests at the last minute to look at something or work on something.
Right.
That's how my business works.
Mhm.
But, but I have most things, like I have a calendar. I just don't, there's something about not looking at my calendar. It's something about my brain.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. Like, I know, like when people ask me what's going on next week, I'm like, I have no idea. Are you busy? I have no idea. So I'll look at my calendar and go, no, I'm not busy. Oh, Monday, I'm busy. Tuesday, I'm busy. Thursday. I don't look a week out. I just don't.
Yeah.
I know it's weird.
No, it's not weird. I know a lot of people that are.
Listen,
like that. It's just,
handles that. Yeah, handles it all. So
you're very fortunate to have someone assisting you doing that kind of stuff. Oh well, I'll get that one day. So I do want to go back to where we are with the hospitality industry. So check this out. According to that report, nominal room revenue is projected to reach $197.48 billion, which is $27 billion more than in
what's the number again?
2019. 197.48 billion.
Not
That's real
billion.
numbers, not inflation.
Not billion,
adjusted.
not billion. You mean trillion or not billion?
No. United States hotels, 197.7.
97.
Right. 197.48 billion. So 1 billion. Wait. 197 billion, 480 million would be the number.
Gotcha. Don't get rude with me. You said it.
I'm not getting rude. I'm just trying to. I don't know.
You incorrectly said it. You said 1,970,000.
Listen, I've learned a long time ago that it's important to just speak louder and say the same thing over and over again, so you'll be heard.
About me?
No, just in general in my life.
No, but you literally said 1.97 billion. That's
all right, 197.48 billion. Let's just be sure. That's 27 billion more.
Seem like a lot.
That doesn't seem like a lot to you.
The Wynn and Encore generate 2 billion.
Right. Yeah, but
they represent
XYZ roadside motel could generate $1 million or 2. And there's a lot more of those.
Listen, at the end of the day, the efficiencies that are into our industry now because of COVID, I think are really going to help going forward. I really do. I think we're starting to really figure it out.
Well, it's one of those things that it was painful for everyone to go through, but you really learn a lot of lessons through it. And if you look back, I think over time, we'll see a lot of the benefits that we were forced to go ahead and get, as opposed to all the bad stuff.
Yeah, I think I shared with you during COVID. One of the things that I can't say I enjoyed, but something that I noticed is everybody trying to figure it out on the fly and thinking they know what was happening, but their eyes going, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. But also, a lot of what happens is people don't really think about things with critical thinking. And I mean this in hospitality and in general. They just hear stuff and take that as sacrosanct and kind of repeat it back.
I think that I just literally said this to a person I work with, a publicist. And I said, do me a favor, go out to all your friends in Hollywood, get them in the desert, and all of them, every single person that works in Hollywood, and tell them, come up with one creative idea, one idea you have not repackaged in the last 30 years. Stop using the 80s and 90s and 2000s as a recreation of new content. When was the last time? I mean, if you look at White Lotus, things like that, yes. But when you're talking about reality television, and I think those kind of shows and those kind of networks now are in serious problems because there's nothing new. There's nothing new.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you what else isn't new. Going to a comment that I saw. It's February, so Tom Brady retired again. So that's not new.
And he said he's serious about not coming back.
Right. Sure.
What are the odds in Vegas right now?
I don't know. I wonder if there are odds in Vegas right now. That would be good. I don't know. We'll have to ask the people at the
there was odds
Sportsbook.
when you retired. It went up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Somebody look at what the odds are and let me know.
It'll be really interesting to see how the NFL rejiggers itself, that sort of.
I think what they should do is they should just take Tom Brady, walk him to the Mount Rushmore, and put his picture there, and everybody just move on. And anybody that says, again, New York fan, not a big, outside New York fan, but anyone that says Tom Brady isn't the GOAT, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
I just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying with that. Listen, as a painfully suffering Jets fan, I can definitely appreciate Tom Brady and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, so read that. What did she write? Suzanne just wrote.
Hold on, let me look.
But there's already a line coming out of Vegas on Tom Brady.
Coming out right at 900, while odds to stay are at minus 2,000. All right, so I guess that means if he comes out of retirement, for every buck you get 900, or you just lose. I don't know how that works. So I got to do a sports betting thing and figure out how all of that kind of stuff. So
wait till that really good one comes out. That's sports betting for dummies.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I don't know anything about football in a real meaningful depth level. I've been seeing a lot of memes saying that Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback of all time because when he played, they didn't have speakers in the headphones. They didn't have as many rules. It was a more dangerous game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do you come down on that?
I don't have the statistics in front of me, Joe Montana from Brady. I don't.
Well, he won, I think, 4 Super Bowls or something like that.
Well, Joe Montana, all of them are great. This is what, to me, puts him past everyone.
Yeah.
Was it Belichick or Brady? Well, we found out who it was. And he took a very mediocre Tampa Bay team and won a Super Bowl. A 1,000,000,000 odds. So listen, I'm just going to go with Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? I'm going to go with Michael Jordan. I could be wrong. Could be Will Chamberlain, but I'm going to go with Michael Jordan. There's a mentality that I'm attracted to with a Tom Brady and a Michael Jordan that's almost psychotic,
right?
That's almost just at a different that I can't reach and nobody I know can reach. That is just so insane. I think I've seen a lot of people be tough. I've seen a lot of athletes be Hall of Famers. I think Kobe Bryant is on that list. I think there are some people that are on that list. Yeah, I think, Derek Jeter was a really good talent. He wasn't a superstar. He wasn't a Hall of Famer. He willed his way into the Hall of Fame because of that psychotic mindset. If psychotic is the right word here, I don't know, but just that insane mindset.
Yeah, that is an insane mindset. I can't imagine these people that do these sports things at the highest level that they're in.
I was making fun of you this weekend, remember?
This weekend or just constantly?
About sports. I saw, by the way, the Chiefs and who else is in? And Bengals are in. Well, I watched it.
Yeah, I was very proud of myself. So we're gonna have a big joyous occasion over here. I think it's the 12th is when the Super Bowl is. So that's my cat Splotchy. So we're excited.
Well,
about
it was
that.
your cat. It was your cat. It was something really uncomfortable.
No, that was the cat. But I will say that my wife was born and raised in Philly, so she's very excited. The last time the Phillies won the Super Bowl, she ran, or I should say, the big game. I don't want to get in trouble with the NFL. That she walked around the house doing "Fly Eagles Fly" song for like
okay, my friend. You know what you just said?
What?
Okay, I'm gonna have one of our people listening tell everyone what you just said. You had no idea what you just said.
No, I didn't. I said not the Super Bowl, the big game. You have to call it that.
No, you said who's in the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, it's the Eagles versus the Chiefs.
Right. Right. I actually made a mistake too.
No, you said Bengals, but I thought you were referring to the game I watched last weekend.
No, but you said that's what I was referring to. But you just said Phillies are in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I meant Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, listen, I love the Phillies, but I I've still got a lot of pain because I wanted to be the Philly fanatic, and they wouldn't let me. Hopefully, one day I'll come to terms of that.
Yeah, I have a problem with anyone wanting to be the Philly fanatic, but that's another story.
that is an absolute another story for sure. All right, so let's see what else is going on in the hospitality.
Okay,
It's actually been go on. I was gonna say, it's actually been kind of a quiet week in hospitality so far. Coming after Alice last week, that seems to have been when all the big news was. So let me ask you a question about that conference, not necessarily about the conference itself, but what did you think about the stamina that it takes to be able to get through one of these kinds of events that last 2.5, 3 days?
Chip Rogers is a marathon runner.
It's unbelievable.
Insane. I don't know. I did a couple and I was just like, I'm out. So yeah, the stamina it takes, but then again, you can go back to, watching me sometimes, whether it be on set or what I do.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people literally say, I can't stay with you for 3 hours.
Yeah.
What I'm passionate about isn't hard work. They're passionate. Chip's an incredibly creative person, and he was killing it. So the stamina is insane. And you're interesting because you pace yourself a little bit because you leave at the right hour. I noticed that because one night I didn't leave at the right hour because I fell asleep.
It's a lesson that I learned.
And also you took a nap. I texted you and you go, I'm resting now.
I didn't nap. I just sat in my room and responded to some emails and had some quiet time where I didn't have to be on the entire time.
Yeah.
But that's not to say I don't take a 30-minute nap from time to time, just not on this.
Suzanne said I'm the biggest napper. We're the biggest napper she knows. I don't nap. I haven't taken a nap in, I don't know, maybe once in 30 years. When I was napping the other night is because I may have over consumed some alcohol and I got tired and I was watching a band in the corner and they left the little old man alone as I fell asleep.
Yeah. Right. She said last May in Orlando, we both took
naps. I didn't nap. I escaped.
I was also getting over being sick. So
and
I had no choice on that. Not to say that I don't take naps. I covet a great nap. And I think that people that don't do that or incorporate into them, they're either freaking lucky or making a very poor decision. Now, my mom is not a napper, but if I'm going to be doing these 16-hour days, if I can close my eyes for 30 minutes and just have some quiet time, then I can go to the evening's events and be focused and on point and hopefully charming and delightful.
Yeah, I don't nap, but I escape. So you can call it napping. I call it escaping. I'm a fight or flight guy, right? So
yeah, it's a really good point. All right, so Anthony, where are you going on vacation this year?
It's interesting you just said that. To be determined.
Okay, that's a good question. Good answer. I have no idea where I'm going to go or if I'm going to go. I feel like this is why I think that consumers are not going to be spending as much money next summer, which is something that concerns me. I think that I spent way too much money on my vacation last year, and I'm not in a position to do that again this year, considering I have 2 children in college, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And when you're putting kids through private college, there's not a lot of vacations going on. And I had put my kids through college recently, and there wasn't a lot of vacations going on. And for a number of reasons, but scheduling being probably the biggest. And it's expensive to put kids through college and go on vacation and do everything else and live your life. And but this year there's several things going on, and so I may have a real big vacation. So we're working on it. Getting the kids and everybody's schedule going is kind of tough.
It's really, really hard, especially as everybody starts to get a little bit older.
I want to go to Japan. Nobody wants to go to Japan. So
listen, we're going to get there eventually. I just don't think I could get there this summer. As a matter of fact, we've been trying to get there since summer of 2020. And anyone who's been watching our show knows this because I complain about it all the time. But they actually came to me and they said, we don't want to go this summer. Not because they know I'm trying to save and pay for their college, but they're trying to learn Japanese and they want to be relatively proficient for when we actually go there. So they want to do it the summer of 2024, which I love because then they can do all the talking and I could just keep shoveling sushi.
I love that you have nerdy children.
Listen, I hope that stuff pays off because, when I blow out all of my energy and they need to put me in a nursing home, someone's got to pay for it, right? So,
well, as a person that has a nerdy child, it pays off. Trust me.
oh yeah,
and they beat the living crap out of you on Jeopardy. Her mind last night on Jeopardy, I was just like, stop it, just stop, stop. Like you know those people that answer the question before they're finished reading it.
Yeah,
I'm like, stop it, just stop it. She goes, well, Dad, just read I said, I can't read the first 2 words before you already have the answer. Stop. So she had 25 points to my 6.
right.
And I was really proud of 6.
Yeah, you should. That's terrific.
So
I would have gotten a 2. So, you know.
So Kim Hodge, are you going to Hawaii because of White Lotus? I need to know.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And let me recommend, Kim, if you're at the Big Island, you've got to do the top of the volcano at night so you can see the red lava all over the place. It's really freaking cool out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen that because I'm always working when I'm there.
I also did a Haleakala, so it's over 10,000.
That's on Maui. That's on Maui. Right?
That's 10,000 feet up, and we went there to watch the sunset, which was amazing.
Most people say they go to sunrise.
They do, but we weren't getting up at 3 a.m. to take a bus to go up there to ride a bicycle down the hill and stuff like that, and to ruin the whole day. It's the same thing, but in reverse. You're just looking in a different direction. The sunset was great, but then you're followed by the amazing starscape at night. And we stayed there for a while and we watched the stars and we just kind of hung out. Bring a jacket. It gets very cold up there. And then after that, we went to get some dinner. And the only thing that was open was Burger King. So we had some Whopper meals. So that was
And Kim, if you go to Maui, do the zip lines, the world's longest zip line.
We did the zip lines in Maui, and that was freaking amazing.
Was it the longest one? It was the one.
No, it was not. And it was not as cool as it could have been. Oh, speaking of the California Lodging Investment Conference, make sure you attend on March 1st or 2nd. Craig still got some folks that he could fit in at that event. So make sure you go to CLIconference.com. What's that?
That's the way of him saying to talk about it by putting in the comment.
It's just I love him. I'm going to be there, and I want to see that event be successful.
Hey, I was talking to Bruce Ford about a business thing the other day. Man, Bruce Ford is a smart son of a bitch.
I know. He not that smart. He hangs out with me. So
I told him that. I said, you hang out way too much with Glenn. I actually did say that. But all right, so I told you before, we have a few more minutes. I told you before, we're going to ask each other uncomfortable questions. So,
all right.
What was your first kiss when you were younger?
I think I have to remember that when I was younger. I appreciate you thinking it wasn't like
besides the flagpole. I'm talking about a human. Besides
I'm thinking I'm thinking it was definitely in high school. I think I was in
your first kiss was in high school?
Grade. Yeah, it was very, very slow.
I'm so sorry.
It is what it is.
Everyone, moment of silence.
Yeah, it's all right. It's ancient history right now, and I caught up. So it's all right. I figured out my stuff by college, so it was fine. But it was pretty unremarkable, unmemorable. Or maybe I just can't remember anything before 1990.
I was in PS 209 on Coney Island Avenue in Shore Parkway.
Yeah.
And I was probably in 3rd grade. How old are you in 3rd grade?
9.
Okay. And my friend, I can't remember who it was, and this girl who we were all friends with, we jumped over couple of these fences.
Yeah.
And I passed it this morning. It's because I was in Brooklyn this morning. And it's like in this little park behind the building. Right. And I remember her just grabbing my head, not even my face, but my head, and kissing me.
When I was 9 years old, I still thought girls were icky and stuff like that. I didn't have.
I never have her. So she kissed me first, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first time, I'm asking the question as I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I have a really good answer for it. But the first time you were bullied or you were about to be in a fight, you were scared shit.
I can't remember when that didn't happen when I was a kid.
My God.
Yeah, I was I was the runt and always picked second to last or last for the kickball and for all of that kind of stuff. So, and then the kids always wanted to beat me up, but I look back and I'm glad that kind of happened because it it made me come up with witty things to say to disarm bullies and stuff like that. So it was a tough go. People really wanted to fight with me, but I seem to always be able to get out of it and run away before that stuff happened too much.
Well, I giggled when you said that. I don't mean to laugh because that's
No.
sad. It's hard, but it makes you who you are.
It really does. And it's one of those things that we all go through so many painful things, but without those painful things, would you actually be the person you are today? And if you love who you are as an individual, then all of that stuff was really important, whether or not you realized it at the time or not, you know?
I agree with you 100%.
So let me ask you a question.
Hold on, let me answer that question. I want to answer that question.
All right, yeah, go for it.
Billy Rowan, Nostrand Avenue, a parking lot.
Yeah.
And Billy Rowan was about twice my size. And I did him wrong and he did me wrong or whatever. And we were in the middle of the school and it was like square up time. And I was smart enough to say, I'll meet you at 3:30 on Nostrand Avenue in the so-and-so parking lot. You know, very cliche, very right out of a movie. And so now my guys and my guys were like, not for nothing, but like you, they were kind of nerdy. They were in the play. Like I didn't hang out with the tough guys. And so at least at school. And then, so we go, and then, you know, Billy was pretty tough and he was a dancer. And I saw him do backflips on stage once. Anyway, I didn't want no part of this, but I was like, I'm going to go, and I'm either going to do some whipping. I was a wrestler, so I was just going to grab him, hold him down. And I thought I could get him, but eventually if he gets up, he's going to beat me within, you know, an inch of my life. And we're both squaring up, and his people are there, my people are there, and we're about to go. And I am literally crapping and peeing myself.
Oh my gosh.
Please, I whatever. Just make sure I don't get hurt or killed in front of, like, I'm sure my girlfriends were there or whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I was about to go, an off-duty cop broke it up.
Oh.
So fast forward 30 years, we're in a reunion, and I see him, and they come over, we hug each other. I go, dude, remember when we were in the parking lot? And he goes, yeah, I remember. And I go, and I don't know if I said it first or he said it first. I was scared shit of you. I was like, what? He said, because you always had that look in your eye.
Right.
He goes, I knew I could take you, but I was afraid of the look in your eye.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I told him I was petrified.
Yeah. And by the way, I resent you calling me a nerd because I did play saxophone and marching band in high school. So that is not nerdy at all.
I apologize.
Right, so let me ask you this. What was the most uncomfortable career experience you ever had, and how did you handle it?
They were all uncomfortable because that's who I am. I put myself very uncomfortable. But one that made me very, by nobody's fault but my own.
Yep.
That me, and I'm hesitating to say it, but when I was an asset manager, and I'm not going to say where I worked, people know I've mentioned it before, it was incredibly uncomfortable because I am a emotional human. And I think I'm really like good at P&Ls and cash flows, and I learned it even better, and I'm really good and nerdy about stuff like that when I'm feeling comfortable with people. But it was extremely uncomfortable because I wasn't around my kind of people. They were very Ivy League nerdy kind of people, and I learned more from them than anybody I've ever learned in my life. It was the greatest experience. Yeah, I wouldn't for the world. I wouldn't change it. But I think their recollection of it would be kind of similar. It's like he was just a fish out of the water, and he just didn't belong here. I think I did a good job. I learned a lot. I know I did a good job, but I learned a lot. But it was it just wasn't a fit, and it was really, really uncomfortable. But I learned that was the catalyst for the rest of my career. That's the reason you know me. That's the reason I was on TV, because that was so uncomfortable. I was just like, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Crazy though, what we. How
about you?
I think the most uncomfortable part of my career has been trying to be social. Very much an introvert. I had a call with somebody this morning, and you know this about me very well, that I'm really good and present in moments like this, but God forbid I should ever keep in touch with anyone or call somebody, right? So
I will say you're terrible at it.
Horrible. It's like, I would say that is probably And there are others you could choose from, but I would say it's probably the biggest issue that I have yet to be able to come past. And like I openly admit I have trouble like getting myself to call my mom and my kids and all of that kind of stuff. It's really, really, really bad. I get into this very inside kind of universe and I forget that the outside world kind of exists. But take that and then put me into having to be into a highly social career. The most uncomfortable thing I think for me early on was going into those cocktail parties where you don't know anybody and trying to find your way and not feel insecure and of value and feel like you're part of the team. And I remember that I about 4 or 5 years or so, I don't remember the exact date that it was, that I finally remember I felt like I was invited to the adults table, and I got to get past that and people started to look at me as somewhat of an equal. And then you turn around and now all of a sudden I'm the old grandpa in the
superstar. Now you're the superstar.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. And like I said before, like if I don't call you, I don't hear from you.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's nothing personal. Again, let me take this to everybody who's out there that doesn't hear from me. Sorry. I'm working on it. I will continue.
Like even like I get people's cell numbers, as like whoever it is, president of a company, like what you sell, and I'll text them. Like when I want to talk to them or whatever, I text them. You email them. I'm like, yeah, I think it's more.
Well, I email them because I don't actually want to hear back from anybody.
Right. Well, and I think that's why maybe I think you put so much work into this and you're now reaping the benefits.
Yeah.
And like you said, last year was your best year. I think you could have reaped the benefits a little sooner if you would have been a little bit more in your face.
Yeah.
You were in their face, but then when they left, you didn't like call them back and say, remember me?
Yeah, you're right about that. Hey, it is what it is. And to everybody who's out there watching and listening, just figure out what your thing is and try to chip away at it. I called you this morning, which was
the only reason being is because you knew if you announced it on the show and I didn't know about it, I'd be pissed.
But I called you.
I'm kidding.
I know, but I called you, which was I had to work up to it, which is so ridiculous.
Wow, that's weird.
It's so weird. I'm very strange.
That's not weird. I don't mean it's weird. I mean,
no, I know.
But
You mean weird in the context that I just don't come off in that way at all.
Yeah, and I said it before that you go from 0 to 100 on stage, where I go like I'm medium when I get on stage, and then I'll get a little excited. But you go from like, hi Glenn, what's up?
Yeah. I know, totally.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're very much like what you are off stage is what you are on stage, just a little bit louder for the audience. But me, I'm two totally different people, I think.
And you're very talented at it, but you're like, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
I love when people say Glenn's got so much energy. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I tell this to people all the time. I put like my entire day's worth of energy into the 43 minutes I'm on stage, and then that's it.
But I want to say something that you said before. It's like chip away what you're good at. No, I agree and I disagree. Mm-hmm. Do things that suck. Do things you don't want to do. And I'm kind of learning this myself.
I said chip away what you're not good at.
Though. I tend to really push stuff away that I don't like. And you really got to be uncomfortable and you really got to do the stuff you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And you're good at what you're good at, and that's going to come natural. But the things you're bad at, man, you've got to set things up, whether it be, having help that you really suck at, which I've made a career out of really getting good people around me, and not being afraid or ashamed of like, I don't want to do it. I suck at it and I have no interest in doing it. And I was just listening to a comedian on Joe Rogan, and he said that he's bad at writing and he doesn't write jokes. He'll think of a word or a premise and he goes on stage and he works it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes audience just get beat up because he's not funny, but that's the only way he can work out material. I'm kind of similar. Mm-hmm. I can write. When I write, I'm a relatively good writer, and I'm relatively creative, but like I go on stage with notes. I just got when I did the Air Force for 5,000 people, I literally called my assistant and said, hey, can you work Sunday night? She goes, yeah, it's all right. Sunday night, I'm going to land and I'm going to work some things out. And we worked some things out. I said, all right, send me some slides with one word. And I literally worked it out and I just went off these one words and I never, how sometimes I stutter?
Yeah.
I didn't stutter once in the entire.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. So everybody's got to do what they got to do to be successful.
Yeah, I love when I'm on somebody else's podcast or broadcast or something like that. I could then I record all of that stuff because I say all of those things that I want to say that I don't say off stage or can't conceive of by writing it down on a piece of paper. And I've got all sorts of transcripts and stuff like that, which will be really helpful if I ever get around to, writing that next book or putting together a, public speaking class and stuff like that. So I allow that stuff to happen organically and then turn it into the writing as opposed to doing it the other way, writing and then turning it into speeches.
Matter of fact, I came up with the name of my second book on a call before with my publicist, and I forgot the name of it. So I got to ask her to write down the name because it was a really good
That's too funny. Oh man, goodness. All right. So anything else you want to talk about? Because I feel like
texting in the middle of the show.
No, it's fine. We've been on almost 45 minutes anyway. So, I think we could probably wrap this bad boy up for today. And while Anthony is texting, I'll remind all of you.
I'm done.
You got anything else you want to say, or should we just get out of here?
No, I am grateful. And this is another thing that I'm learning as I get older. Just be grateful for everything. If you have a cup of coffee, be grateful. If you see somebody open the door for you, be grateful. If you wake up in the morning, be grateful. If your friend Glenn doesn't call you back and you call him, he takes your phone call.
Be grateful.
If somebody's mad at you and they walk out of your life, be grateful because they walked out of your life for a reason.
Yep.
Like just live in gratitude. No matter how, when we tend to, everything's going well, we tend to forget our spirituality. We forget what's important to us. And when you get kicked in you tend to kind of go to that. Mm-hmm. Try to always be in that space. And I think that's kind of what I've learned over my life.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it. If you want to learn more stuff like that, well, be sure to drop us a line and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you get your shows. We are there. Of course, you can find the full catalog of shows at novacancynews.com or watch us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever else you'd like. I don't know if we'll be there, but try us anyway. He's at Anthony Hotels. I'm at Traveling Glenn. All right, let's get out of here, everybody. So remember, you got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
I will see you guys back here next Tuesday. Bye.
Hippity hop flights.